Hey everyone, this is Raina Creel with Purpose and Passion. Man, I have an amazing guest here, entrepreneur of many things. And so, I always interview girls all the time, or women, ladies, but I'm excited today because I had back-to-back interviews with two amazing guys. So today I wanted to bring in Gerald, Lacey into Purpose and Passion to talk about your purpose and passion with our viewers and share your story, because your story is important and it's powerful and inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome.
I love the name of the show too.
Yes, thank you. So take our viewers back down memory lane. Like, where are your parents from? Where were you born and raised, and how was your childhood?
Okay. Well, my mom is from Nashville, Tennessee. Dad is originally from San Diego. They met here in Los Angeles. Back in the day, they manual arts high school. So I grew up in the inner city. We ended up going to the Baldwin Hills area early on. Then I came back to what I call the neighborhood, the avenues later on. Well, moved with my grandmother on Gramercy, and then to the avenues to go to Dublin, Audubon, Crenshaw High School. So definitely a blessing to have those experiences. Growing up in the inner city, you get faced with lots of decision making, lots of challenges, lots of survival skills, understanding how to, keep your head on the swivel, which I think is amazing for life, especially as you travel to other countries, and you it allows you to be able to assimilate quickly to different situations. So, and I definitely, I'm a Crenshaw district representative forever. Part of my purpose and passion is to continue to, push further and further and to expand my global views so that once it's all done, I'm able to provide different opportunities for, the youth that may not, at least initially be pushing that far or have the ability to push that far.
Yes, of course. So how was your teenage years in LA?
My teenage years, honestly, were amazing. I went to Audubon Junior High School, like I said, which is in the center of, or in our world, it's the center between Dorsey and Crenshaw. So half of us went to Crenshaw, half of us went to Dorsey. So many people that are influencing society, whether it's from athletics, from the city, from the executive standpoint, came from our little nucleus. But ultimately, we were we didn't have, obviously, technology that we have today, so we had to kind of go seek our adventures.
Yes.
Or bring our adventures to us, or create our own adventures, and we were quite good at it. So we kind of had, we were blessed because some of our older, not my older brother, he was a lot older, but some of the other kids, older brothers, went to Dorsey or went to Crenshaw, and then they had different groups. I was actually supposed to go to Dorsey because I was kind of a football player.
Yes.
I played all sports, but I was, really more leaning towards football. And then as I started to flourish in basketball, I went to a Crenshaw basketball camp. I think it was in the 9th grade. Did amazing. I'm in there, had all the banners and everything going on.
That's great.
Yeah, because initially, it was interesting because I was telling my son, he's 10 now, and he's playing basketball. So I've been talking to some of my old buddies because I was actually, in our class, I was the first one to dunk on the high rim, Audubon in the middle. And we used to have the whole school used to be out there, even to the point where eventually all the high school coaches started coming to the side of the gate. They couldn't get in. They're just watching on the side, but literally the whole school was, would come at lunchtime, whenever we were playing. So yeah, we had almost a university style experience in our teams. We had the little groups, the individuals. We played against each other. Our Bird Bowl was amazing at that time. So, of course, that was, there was gang activity. But realistically, it was kind of, we played a lot of sports, but it wasn't as, I guess at that school, it wasn't as, there wasn't that much pressure. It was the people that were in that were in it, but everybody was cool because we were still young, right? 13, 14 years old. Everybody had older brothers and sisters that was into it and stuff like that. So you kind of had to make those decisions, but it seemed like everybody was just trying to really get along and assimilate and
Yes.
build life. Like there was some people, it was a gentleman, Sean McFraser, never forget it, always suited and booted. He had the briefcase, you know what I'm saying? Family must have been into something, you know, interesting. But, you know, he came in, he had the elite scooter. Like, we always had, you know, some innovators early on.
In the area.
Yeah, no, so I honestly wouldn't trade my teenage experience here for anything. It was awesome.
So we met through Big U. So how did you meet him?
I actually knew about him way before I met him. Just because, you know,
who he is.
He just is who he is.
The cool guy.
I grew up in the Crenshaw district, so he was actually more so friends with one of my best friends was Curtis Galbert. So he, you know, 6th Avenue. He was friends with, you know, rest in peace, his older brother. So that was their crew. So you would always just hear, like, he never really pulled up on 6th Ave as much, but you could always, it was always something going on. How we actually became friends and really close and brothers is through my partner who I grew up with, which is Doe Henderson, who is helping a lot with the business side.
The manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Doe and I are partners in Dynasty. Well, actually, since 8 years old, we've been friends, playing all kind of sports. We went to Audubon, we went to Crenshaw. We also went to the University of Hawaii together. So
University of Hawaii? How you go from LA to the hood to Hawaii? How did that happen?
I mean, it was a blessing for sure.
Yes, of course, yes.
So I can get back to that.
Yes.
So I will come back to that. So, you know, through our relationship and our longstanding, you know, friendship and brotherhood, they, you know, we always would kind of talk about different things, but it kind of became more close when we started kind of just getting global, right? And Big U's Crenshaw playing with the kids, you know, Doe actually was coaching. I think that's how the relationship really culminated, because when Doe was coaching at Crenshaw in kind of the second wave of the Crenshaw football championships, Big U was also there. So I think that's when that relationship became really like a lot better, you know, like just more close. And then because of our closeness and me always, you know, being on some business and, you know, Dynasty Records and us, you know, trying to scale, then we just end up, you know, collaborating a lot more, start talking about things. And that's when I really found out how dynamic Big U is as a person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, because you hear this or you hear that, but you know, it was all, you know, what it was in the neighborhood. Nobody really, you didn't sway one way or the other. It just was what it was. But from the external, a lot of people have all these different views.
Yes, of course.
But I actually interviewed him in a vision session, and like, he's just so dynamic. Like,
he is. He's a one of a kind type of guy. Like, all I can say is there's only one Big U.
Yeah, no, like, seriously, like, I mean, whatever the path was, you know, and however he, you know, his passion and his purpose comes to fruition, and how he got all the information that he does to be able to assimilate in all of the cultures, to be able to deliver messages, to be able to actually influence change, to have to, it's so admirable, because he has time for all of the kids, time for all of the neighborhood, time for all of his family, time for all of these different things. Like, you know, kudos to that gentleman.
Yes,
sure.
of course.
Yeah,
So talking about entrepreneurship, you know, can you share with the viewers, like, you know, what have you expanded? You know, because I remember on Straight from the Streets, I interviewed you because of the book. So, you know, I want you to talk about the book, your book, and your entrepreneurship, because it's important for people to hear your story, you know, and learn something from you, because my show is about educating, empowering, teaching awareness, and inspiring.
Okay. No, thank you so much. It's been a very interesting journey, let's just say, in entrepreneurship for me. When I was in college, I got deterred from getting a job, because during the summer, so they had summer job programs at the University of Hawaii where, you know, some people it was through all the alumni.
Yes.
So some of us, though, included, got one of the cushy jobs where they went to this office building. They were supposed to be cleaning up, but really all they were doing was, you know, eating snacks and hanging out, right? I got the mover job, which I can't, you know, other than that particular time, I have to appreciate that job, because I was in a truck, you know what I'm saying? It was me and two grown men. So I'm a college kid, but it's two grown men that were actually movers, and I was helping.
Yes. And
we were in Hawaii, so we had a lot of military moves, big furniture, sometimes 3 flights of stairs, 4 flights. It's unbelievable, you know, stuff. Just imagine global furniture in the third floor. Over time, you know, we was living off campus at the time, had a little house, so I had some roommates. I remember working a lot of normal hours, taking overtime because I wanted some new shoes, about to go back to school, I wanted to be fresh. So I remember working overtime, and then when I got my check, I'm working overtime with the guys though, right?
Yes.
So we all working overtime. I got my check, and it was $1,500. And I was like, wow. So I was making maybe like $5 less an hour than those guys, but I was already in college, so I was able to do a comparison. I was like, man, we did all of that for all of those hours. I made $1,500, so that means they might have made whatever, $2,500 or something, whatever the case may be. So I just started calculating life, and I always had the entrepreneur spirit because my dad, you know, had limousine services early on, some wins, some losses. But that was like the eye-opening moment, I think, for me, where and since then I haven't had a job. You know what I mean? So I've just been trying to make it on my own since then.
Yes.
But yeah, so, you know, we started in music and we were doing the rap thing for a while. Obviously we had, you know, just some innovative thought process on how to approach that. This was back when flyers mattered. You know, when you could hand somebody a flyer and they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're a rapper. You know, not like today where it's kind of like that doesn't matter. And then from there, we ended up getting into management. Doe's cousin, Mike Shine, was an amazing artist. We got an early on deal with Interscope. So we got to go to that system, understand music and how it works. And, you know, just had a couple of different things, try to go the independent route. That was interesting. Some wins, you know, definitely a lot of losses.
Yes.
And then,
but that's the learning process, right? You know,
for sure. And then I kind of we also had studios, so we were generating some level of income through that, in addition to doing our own projects. But then I got into fashion, and in between that, we were doing little things. But I got into fashion here, actually in the fashion district. We ended up having a factory on 25th and Main. Then that was a smaller one. Then we ended up expanding to a larger factory on Olympic and Alvarado. Okay. And we know with the guy that we partnered up initially, we were actually doing like 80% of the West Coast BB at the time at our factory. Like they were sending in hundreds of thousands of, you know, like, I don't know, BB, well, they always have the foil, then they have the butterflies. Like, we were pressing a bunch of that stuff. And then also, so in that time, one of the main reasons that we bought the factory was because I had my own brand. It was called Rich Taste. Okay. And our production cost was so high because we were doing hand embroidery, hand placed Swarovski crystals and stuff like that. So our production cost for some of these shirts was $80, $90. So, and just imagine going around to different factories and dealing with, you know, print. I had 9-10 color prints. So it was like, it started to get to the point where it made sense to buy into a factory so that we could manufacture our own products. Yes. Right. So, and then from that, my partner at the time, she had her own brand. So we ended up scaling in that space for a little while. I ended up in 50 stores, like globally. I kind of did as ready because I kind of like a non-conformist, so to speak. Yeah. I didn't like the pressure of having to have spring, fall, holiday, all these different things.
That is true when it comes to fashion.
I'm like, who's making these rules? Like, I'm a complete non-conformist. I'm like, listen, mine's as ready, take it or not. You know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's expensive.
All of it, summer, spring, winter, fall.
Look, I had on my tags, it's not for everybody. I already had the caveat out there. Super expensive. And this is way before Givenchy and all those did. Well, maybe they had the shirts, I don't know, but I mean, our shirts were $300. We ended up selling a shirt for like $800 in Vegas to like I think it was like the king of somewhere, Morocco, I believe. So we were making waves, and then making a lot of progress. You know, started getting into some real estate, just making a couple of moves, and then that brought us up to the recession, which was like 2008, real estate crash and all of that kind of stuff, which was a real eye opener for me.
Yeah, I dealt with all of that too. I lost everything. I saw my credit score from 795 to like 200. Man, whew. Bad. I remember those days, boy.
Yeah, so it was interesting because up until that point, and just through my exposure, through growing up in the inner city, understanding the hustle mentality, just, you know, really trying to make it. Up until that point, the amount of money that I had was purely up to me. Yes. If I got up and I did what I was supposed to do or what I had to do, then I had some money. If I, you know, sold products, you know, if we, you know, did shows, whatever it was, we had some money. But for the first time in my actual life, when I woke up, how much money I had was not in my control. So it was really shocking to me. BB started scaling. So it was a trickle down effect, right? People are losing money. They're losing their houses. No one's shopping, right? So now I'm in fashion. We have stores. We have factories. We're doing BB. We had at the time like Silver Dagger. What was that other? I forgot a lot of companies with the stones. We were doing a lot of people's stuff. That's when the homies actually came out. So we were doing a lot of that stuff. But as people stopped shopping, it was like the stores aren't making money. So there's no orders coming in. So now people that even had in orders, they don't want to pay the factory. We had 140 employees at the time. Now I wasn't the head of operations, so I wasn't even really paying attention, working on my line, working on life. You know what I mean? We going on, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, like if we had let some of our employees go earlier on, we kind of maybe could have mitigated navigated through that whole process. But ultimately, that was an eye-opening experience that I'm still recovering from right now, because I wasn't really prepared for somebody else to control my financial destiny.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I was all in. Just imagine like the whole time it wasn't really, I mean, of course you're supposed to have, I did have a nest egg. Yes. My nest egg allowed me to survive for several years, you know what I mean? Whether it was selling stuff or things that I didn't want to sell or things that I had. So I had to kind of deal with that while I'm trying to figure out who I am as an entrepreneur, as a business person. Like what am I gonna do? So in that time since then, I've tried multiple things. I mean, I probably have 30 live websites up right now.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's just maybe something goes, something doesn't go, but you know, they're still up. So there's always a chance. You know, maybe I run into a teammate that's their passion and they can hop on that. But my ultimate goal is come to a point now that I started to kind of go global. So okay, let's bring you to current. Sorry.
Yes.
So I'm actually the president.
So I was like the book, and then
right. So
after the book.
Okay, so the book, I wrote that in 2018. So
what's the name of the book?
The book's called The Visionary.
Okay.
It's a collaboration of visionary insights. You know, I feel like it's just the push you need to get you to your goals, right? I kind of put that on the cover as well. So I kind of used that book as like I had a data dump, right? I had like so much that I had done.
Yes. And
I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone to ask. You know what I mean? So I went through all of these journeys, dealing with factories, dealing with, you know, people, you know, acting as if they were getting our orders ready and then causing us to lose orders with Kohl's. Like I went through so many different things that I thought as I transitioned out of the street life or out of the neighborhood, so to speak, and got into the corporate space, that it was going to be more straight and narrow. It was going to be like everybody wants everybody to win, but it was, in my experience, it was the opposite. In music and fashion, it was really very individual and about that person and their family and their livelihood. It wasn't really about us all winning. You know what I'm saying? Very short-sighted from my experience.
Yes.
So in that book, I talked about a lot of these situations, and I wanted to give some insight on some answers of how somebody else could handle it. Maybe they're from the inner city, or maybe they're from anywhere, and they're dealing with all these different things, but all they really want to do is win. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because that's the outcome, right? Like, you know, when you're in business, you just want to win.
For sure.
You know, especially financially.
Yeah, right. So I called the book The Visionary, and I think it's not necessarily because I'm the visionary. It's more so about the visionary thought process.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to make it an open invitation from all visionaries from all walks of life. You know what I mean? If they saw some value in it, to, you know, take a look and see if there's anything, if there's one thing, if there's two things in there that can help you, then the book, you know, is available. And so that was awesome for me to get that information out. And it's also cool that some of the things that I talked about in that book are some of the things that I've continued to work on.
Okay, that's great.
You know, globally. Like, so if you were to look at the book, it says that I'm like, for the dash shop, for the dash box, it's called the dash shops now. For the dash box, I was just in marketing, have a percentage of that company and all those different things. But now, currently, I'm actually the president of the company that built the dash box.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's part of where I am today. So the company is called Ritz International. So we are, stands for Robertson International Technology Services, which is my partner. He's a brother as well from Salt Lake City. His family is one of the first black families in Salt Lake So actually, the statue of Brigham Young, like one of his, his great grandfathers or whatever, is one of the slaves pulling that statue like into Utah. So that's how deep they go, right? It's very interesting. So from black to Spanish to also, they are like, it's really deep. You know what I mean? Where they come from, but he himself has been in the technology space for 30 years, all the way back from
30 years?
Yeah, no, so all the way back from Ask Jeeves, which is before Google and before Yahoo and before all those things. So it's actually an honor that he put me in control of expanding his technological legacy globally. So one of the good things about us is we are a Black/African technology firm, and we have offices in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, as well as Lagos, Nigeria. Yes, for sure. So he went there first. It's been about 10 years, and set up the whole infrastructure in Ethiopia. And what we've done is we've been cultivating the talent, right, to try to change it from just going to school, learning how to program, and going to be a service provider for a company to creating innovators in that space. So now the projects and up until now, we've done a lot of projects for other people that have either exited or have got major investment or that they've, made lots of money on. So along that time, we've been building our own projects. And now we're at the point where we're getting ready to release our own project, self-funded all the way to release. And, it's just really an exciting time because our passion and our purpose really is to equalize the equity gap for minorities and women founders in technology. Right? So that's kind of like where we are now. And what we found is even bigger is that a lot of our vision and our mission is in line with the global sustainability goals of the UN. So now we're starting to really kind of
United Nations, right?
Yes.
Okay,
like,
when you say UN, I'm like, United Nations. Woo.
And we're already set up in the U.S. and Nigeria and Ethiopia, and next is going to be Ghana. So we are global.
Wow, that's beautiful that you're going to like Africa. You know what I mean? Which is amazing. Yeah. I've never been there, but people that visited there on social media, I see, and I'm just like, it looks so beautiful. So technology is your thing right now. So do you guys create apps? And only reason why I'm asking this question is because as I run for mayor, obviously I'm running for mayor of Inglewood, and when God gives me the seat in November, I wanted to create an app for all the residents of Inglewood. So when they look on that app, it'll say Mexican restaurants, and they'll have the address and everything lined up. African American food, soul food, Nigerian food, Creole food, Black owned businesses, Latino owned businesses, clothing line, where you don't have to go searching for stuff. You just go to the app and you already know where you're going because the app is giving you that information. Or read, how many churches there are in Inglewood. And the most important thing is nonprofits, job readiness. Do you guys do apps?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
apps,
good.
Sure. We can definitely assist you with that.
Yeah, because like I said, I know we got some funding in the city of Inglewood where we can utilize that and create an app because the first thing I want to do is create the Inglewood Resource and Directory. That's what I want to name it, Inglewood Resource and Directory app. So that's good to know that you know how to do the app. So now I don't have to go to nobody but people I know, right?
Yeah,
do business with people you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's actually in line with some of the things that we're doing, like the Dash Shops. It's designed for local retailers, with same day delivery and stuff like that. So once you do have that, maybe there's some synergy where we can, API in to where now instead of just knowing where to go. I mean, for restaurants it'd be a little bit more difficult because we're not going to do food, but when it comes to the shops and the things and the products, maybe we can do some kind of
collaboration.
Yeah, and then that way, now when the shop is on there, they can have their own little micro shop and they, just generate. Yes. Now you're helping. It's your city, right? So now you're helping actually generate.
Yeah, I want to help the small business owners. I really do because I know, like, the corporations, they get it a little bit easier than small business owners. And so my focus is to build the small business owners, giving them the resources and the same resources that the corporation get, like the Rams coming in and the Clippers coming in. So thank you for, just sharing your information. Is there anything you want to share with the viewers? How can they find you?
Well, I am on Instagram, so I kind of got off social media a little bit, but I do have an Instagram called The Visionary Path,
Awesome.
which is, based around good energy and positivity, and just it's kind of based around the book. So a lot of the visionary branding stuff is based around the book, but it's really how I feel and who I am internally,
Yes.
just really about positivity and helping however I can, whether it's just in conversation or, whether it's in position or whether
Yes.
it's an opportunity. And as I become more successful and positioned better globally and start accessing different levels of resources, and, I definitely, would like to even make the Visionary Path have a lot more calls to actions for people. And I'll probably go back and start, doing some advertisements, because I just feel like, someone could be sitting inside, their apartment or their home, just looking for an opportunity. And sometimes, how social media and the internet works, I would love to be that little ad that pops up and be like, were you looking for, the opportunity of a lifetime, and then not have it really cost you $1,000. But like, if you qualify, or if you're willing to do A, B, C, and D, then, come join us. This is what we're doing. Right.
This is awesome.
That's kind of like, where my passion, I guess that's where my passion is, right? Like the more founders that we can have, like with our platforms, right? Because we have 10 platforms pretty much in 10 industries right now that are just saying the 90%.
And what are the 10 industries?
Oh boy, you're just gonna test my memory. But so we're in fintech, we're in blockchain, we're in social, and that's what's actually gonna release first. It's called Where We All Meet. It's an event-based social interaction platform with the dating possibility. So that's that in social. We have the Dash Shops in e-commerce. We have Blue Mirage, which is our NFT marketplace with some closed portal access. So we're in fintech. We can build anything. We have something in job search. We have something in networking. We have a couple of different like feel good apps. So that would be care. So almost every potential healthcare and almost every potential like technology vertical, we have something. But those, I won't be running those companies.
Yes.
So this is how we're going to be able to empower these minority and women founders.
Yes.
So as we build this infrastructure, like for example, if there was, after maybe you might be mayor forever, but I'm not sure when that gets done. I don't know how the term.
We don't have term limits now, but I am going to create a term limit because I think it's unfair. Like I should be able to pass the torch. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So, but definitely, I love the ideas that you have, because I'm already thinking like, okay, when it comes to the technology component and those type of resources, then I can pull you into the office and we can make things happen.
Oh,
sure. It's important. It really is, because we're living in a world of technology. Yeah. Like, especially when COVID happened, people were zooming forever. Like I got tired of Zoom. I was like, I don't even want to show my face no more. Yeah. But
nice picture up there.
But definitely, thank you so much. I'm gonna call you Mr. Technology now. Mr. Technology, thank you for gracing our show with your experience and your knowledge, and of course educating us about the technology world. So this is Raina Creel with Purpose and Passion signing out. Until next time.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radicals, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.